This is Christian Gomez with the New American Magazine, and today we have with us again on the program Heather Hobbs, pro-life speaker and blogger with Save the One. Heather, welcome back to the program again. It's been a while.
Thank you, Christian.
So Heather, in one of the recent videos that you've done a couple weeks ago, you talked to us about the euthanasia bill in the Oregon legislature, sort of a Dying with Dignity Act, as it's being called by the Democrats over there in the state. Can you tell us what's happened with the bill and just remind our audience what the bill is about and what it exactly does?
So Senate Bill 579, it was passed through the Oregon House 35 to 22. And, the legislator, they heard from highly qualified medical professionals. They testified that not only is this an unnecessary bill, but it's also very dangerous. It's taking away the waiting period, that 15-day waiting period. And so essentially what we discussed last time in our other interview was that a person could go in and this very same day have a medically assisted suicide, or perhaps they are diagnosed with something that is maybe terminal and they decide that day to go ahead and end it all. And what if they were misdiagnosed? There's a journal that was presented from Mayo Clinic in November 2005. And what it said there, as a part of study that was 468 patients in hospice programs, only 20% of the predictions were accurate. So what that means is you have, 80% of people who could be diagnosed with something that is considered terminal, and it would be wrong. It also targets elderly residents of Oregon. It's incredibly hard for physicians to accurately diagnose and predict what a patient's going to have as far as their lifespan. As you and I know, there are miracles all over where people are given these fatal diagnosis and then they live. So even though it's really hard for a doctor to determine that, it's not very hard for, say, somebody who is in a position of influence, like maybe a caregiver or perhaps a doctor, a lawyer, somebody that for some reason doesn't want someone to live. It can influence the sick person to obtain these lethal drugs and, be bullied into suicide, be pressured, perhaps a grandmother who feels like she's already a burden on her family, and they say, oh, grandma, we have the life insurance policy, you could help the family, we would stop being, or if they have power of attorney, for example, the children could then have their elderly parents killed. It's taking
Wow.
away a lot of parameters that are there to protect people from this kind of thing. And what the Democrats are doing in this state is they are trying to take away the parameters, the protections that are in place. And it started out at, the very beginning when they did this, it started out as only for the most lethal, severe of cases, to now we're trying
And
to
now
make it.
this bill is going to normalize it for everyone
Yes.
that wants to, or everyone who has power of attorney to have that option to get rid of that person the very same day. So
Exactly.
so under this bill, if someone decides that let's say they've been diagnosed with a fatal condition, and they're told you have 3 weeks to live, 2 months, whatever, and the person in the emotion of the moment is frightened, scared, starts weeping and crying, and says, "What's the just take me now," kind of thing. Would the procedure be carried out to kill them essentially that same day, or would it be in a couple days from there?
It would be that same day if the patient requested it, and they don't have to undergo any kind of counseling. And I'm sure you're familiar with the different stages of grief. And right in the beginning there, it is that first it's denial, and then it's like depression. You're like, oh no, this can't be happening to me. And then it kind of settles in like, this is happening to me. What's the point?
So does someone need to be diagnosed with something fatal to be able to decide I want doctors to take my life, or can they also under this bill be allowed to have a doctor take their life because of suicidal thoughts and kind of conceal that from the physicians, from the doctors?
So it would be up to the doctor to determine. If a doctor felt that somebody who is at risk for suicide, they could go along the lines of, this person says they're going to kill themselves anyway, so we might as well do it with dignity through, our hospitals or our clinics. And for me, what this is doing is, it's dehumanizing people. It's, saying, let's go after the disabled, the weak, the elderly, the ones with mental health problems. Oregon is a prime example of eliminating people groups that they feel are less worthy to live. Instead of offering, say, counseling for a depressed patient, or, giving them their other options, what this allows is they can just do it right then and there, and it's, again, covered by taxpayer dollars. It's not something that you get to choose. You know what I mean? You can't choose unless you're going to not pay your taxes.
So the only thing that's being chosen here is that the legislature of Oregon is choosing a culture of death and giving
Yes.
up on life as a whole, which is really sad.
It is. And I always tell people, if you are concerned about where your state is heading as far as euthanasia or abortion, watch Oregon. Oregon has consistently been the first state to do these types of things, and then other states follow suit. So I guarantee you, in the next few years, you will start to see other states that not only have these medical euthanasias, but also that it's going to be funded by taxpayer dollars. And they're going to make it sound like it's only for the critical, the terminal, those who are just going to die in a few days anyways. And the way the language is, it's not the case. It's not going to only be for the terminal patients. It's going to be for whoever they deem isn't worthy of life.
Wow, that is just, there aren't really words to describe that. Well, Heather, you continue fighting there for life, not just in Oregon, but throughout the country as you go on your speaking events that you have scheduled. Continue the fight, continue fighting for those that have no one else speaking out for them. We appreciate having you again on the program as always, Heather, and we hope to have you again soon. Take care, Heather, and God bless you.
Thank you, Christian. And I really want to say I appreciate so much the New American Magazine, and they're you guys are so amazing. You guys fight for life, and I love that. And when I am speaking at events, I've always been saying, definitely go check out the New American Magazine. They're an honest, reliable news source, and they support life. So thank you for doing that. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And for those of you watching out there, we have a special issue about abortion that came out a couple months ago around the same time as the movie Unplanned. So be sure to look for that magazine on shopjbs.org if you haven't already gotten a copy of that issue. And of course, follow us on thenewamerican.com and Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Thank you.